Stress. In any organization, it's just there, right? It's a constant. But what if the very people who are supposed to reduce it, the leaders, are secretly making it worse, and they don't even know they're doing it? Today, we're going to explore that hidden link between leadership and stress, and honestly, it might change how you see your workplace for good.
Sound familiar? For a lot of us, this quote probably hits pretty close to home. It's like this constant hum in the background of our work lives. But does it have to be that way? And maybe more importantly, who's in charge of the volume knob? And that's the big question we're diving into here. I mean, leaders don't want to cause stress, right? Of course not. But what if their own actions, their own habits, are cranking up that pressure dial for their teams without them even realizing it? Okay, so let's start with this really powerful idea, thinking of a leader as a stress amplifier. Now, this is a total game changer because it makes us look past just managing stress and start asking, where's this stress really coming from in the first place? Think of it like this. Imagine a leader's actions, or even just their mood, kind of radiating out to the whole team. So when that leader isn't giving clear direction or making people feel safe, it's not just one person who feels it. It's like the entire team's nervous system goes on high alert, always scanning for what might go wrong next. All right, so if the leader is the amplifier, then how do we change the signal they're sending out? Well, to do that, we have to completely shift how we think about stress. See, it's not just your problem or my problem. Stress, it's a relationship problem. It's about what happens between us. And this brings us to the first big idea for a healthier system, which is all about the plus us. You see, well-being isn't about how tough you are as an individual. Nope. It's about how strong the connection is between people. And when stress shows up, it attacks that connection. That sense of us starts to crumble, and everyone just retreats into their own defensive corners.
But here's where things get really interesting. The goal is not, and I mean not, to get rid of all stress. In fact, that would be a huge mistake. The real trick is finding that optimal zone, that sweet spot where pressure actually helps us perform better, instead of just crushing us. I think we've all been here, right? It's that feeling of being totally overwhelmed, pressure coming from everywhere, your brain just feels scrambled, and trying to think strategically or be creative, forget it. It's just gone.
When that pressure gets to be too much, our brains just flip back to their old school survival mode. We either get super wired, that whole fight or flight thing, or we just shut down. And obviously, neither of those is going to get great work done. So that sweet spot, it's right there in the middle. A little bit of healthy pressure actually helps us focus, it gets us motivated. That's where the magic happens. That's peak performance. So a leader's job today isn't to get rid of the pressure. It's to be more like a thermostat, constantly adjusting to keep the team in that perfect zone.
And staying in that zone? Well, that's all about managing what's going on inside us, which leads to our second pillar, positive chemistry. This is just recognizing that our well-being is literally a biological thing. It's happening in our bodies. And here's the best part. We can actually do something about it with small things we practice every day.
Okay, so how do we actually do this? How do we make it intentional? It's not about being some kind of natural-born leader. It's about treating well-being like a discipline, something you practice on purpose. And that discipline really starts with our third pillar, being plus being. So often, leadership is all about doing stuff, right? Hitting targets, checking off tasks. But what this idea tells us is that a leader's way of being is way, way more important. Their presence, how calm they are, where their focus is, that's what creates the safe space for a team to actually do great work. And our last pillar kind of brings it all home. It's plus discipline. And this is a great reminder that a healthy, positive work culture doesn't just happen by accident. It's built brick by brick with intentional habits, tiny little gestures that when you do them over and over, build a really stable, resilient system. And listen, we're not talking about some huge, complicated new program here. Just think about how powerful these simple habits can be. Taking a beat to pause before a meeting starts, making sure your communication is actually clear, just taking 10 seconds to say, hey, great job on that. Or when everything feels urgent, just saying, okay, this is the one thing that matters most right now. These are the little things, but they build a rock-solid foundation. Okay, so let's boil all this down to what really matters. If you're a leader listening to this, what are the 3 big actions you can take, like today, to completely change how your team deals with stress? Number 1, self-regulation. You just can't calm the storm if you're stuck in the middle of the chaos yourself. It has to start with you. Number 2, manage the zone. It's your job to steer the team away from total burnout on one side and boredom on the other, and keep them right in that sweet spot of productive pressure. And number 3, build trust. And I don't mean with big, grand gestures. I mean with small, consistent, reliable things you do every day that create these little pockets of safety.
And believe me, the difference is night and day. An unregulated system, it just reacts. It can get pretty destructive, and people are just hanging on, enduring. But a regulated team, they collaborate better, they innovate more, they're just plain more effective. The choice seems pretty clear, doesn't it?
You know, when you really get down to it, this is the new job of a leader. Being a regulator for complex human systems. It's about finally admitting that work is this messy mix of biology, our emotions, and our relationships with each other. And the goal isn't just to get people to tolerate their jobs. It's to unlock all that amazing, creative energy they have inside them.
So let's leave it with this one powerful thought. We spend so much time and energy fighting stress. But what if we've been aiming at the wrong enemy all along? Because maybe stress isn't the real villain here. Maybe the real problem is inconsistent management. And that is something every single leader has the power to change.